Welcome to 7WoveN StatiC, Episode 2, GeN AI. I am your host, David Jr. This podcast, Episode 2, was a curious exploration for myself in communicating with AI generators. Giving AI the premise of idea of mine, AI came up with the stories. I do gotta say, they are pretty interesting, and the stories you are going to hear have been written by AI. Do you like the song intro? The local Texas band is called West Creek with their song These Eyes from the album What's Left of Me. To the person who taught me how to play bass and guitar, thank you again, Dan the Man. Look them up on YouTube, Instagram, and Facebook at West Creek Official. If you'd like to share one of your own horror stories, email submissions at 7woven.static@gmail.com. Once again, that's 7woven.static@gmail.com. Thank you. And this is 7WoveN StatiC, Episode 2, GeN AI. Episode 2, Story 1, Shadow People. In the small, quiet town of Willowbrook, there was a legend that had been passed down through generations. It spoke of the Shadow People, mysterious beings that only appeared in the dreams of the town's residents. One moonlit night, young Emily found herself in a dream unlike any other. She stood in a dimly lit forest, surrounded by towering trees that seemed to stretch into eternity. A soft, eerie glow emanated from the shadows beneath the branches, casting an otherworldly ambiance. As Emily ventured deeper into the dream, she encountered the Shadow People. They were tall and slender, their bodies composed entirely of darkness, with piercing radiant eyes that shone like stars. At first, fear gripped her heart, but as she observed them, she realized they were not menacing. In fact, their presence felt oddly comforting. The Shadow People communicated through thought, and they welcomed Emily with warmth and kindness. They explained that they were guardians of the dream realm, protectors of the secrets and memories hidden within it. They could visit dreams of humans, but only a select few were able to perceive them. Emily soon discovered that the Shadow People could guide her through her dreams, showing her forgotten moments and hidden desires. They revealed that dreams were more than just random thoughts. They were a gateway to understand oneself. As Emily explored her dreams with the Shadow People, she unearthed her own potential and realized the power of her subconscious mind. Over time, she built a unique friendship with the Shadow People, returning to the Dream Forest whenever she needed guidance or comfort. The town of Willowbrook eventually came to view the Shadow People not as menacing entities, but as protectors of the dream world. As Emily grew older, she understood that the dreams of the Shadow People were not mere fantasies, but glimpses into the deepest corners of the human psyche. They reminded her that the dream world was a realm of endless possibilities and self discovery. And so the legend of the Shadow People continued to enchant the people of Willowbrook, teaching them to embrace their dreams and the mysteries they held within, while young Emily remained a guardian of the dream world, guided by her mysterious friends. Our next featured storyteller is Miss RGD from a band called War on Sunday from San Antonio, Texas. Enjoy Episode 2, Story 2.
The Black-Eyed Kids. In a remote, desolate village nestled deep within the woods, there existed a chilling legend that the townsfolk whispered about in hushed tones. It was a tale of the black-eyed children, eerie aspirations that appeared on moonless nights, bringing dread and despair to anyone who encountered them. One such night, a reclusive old man named Samuel was alone in his cabin, his only company the flickering flames in his fireplace. As the wind howled outside and the dark clouds obscured the moon, He heard a soft, persistent knocking at his door. Each knock echoed through the cabin like a sinister omen. Hesitant, Samuel approached the door and slightly opened it, revealing two children standing in the shadows. Their eyes, entirely devoid of color, were as black as the abyss. The children looked innocent enough, but a deep sense of dread washed over him. "What do you want?" Samuel asked, his voice quivering. "We're lost," one of the children said, their voices strangely devoid of emotion. "May we come in and warm up and use your phone?" Samuel's instinct screamed at him to slam the door shut and lock it, but an inescapable, sinister curiosity compelled him to invite them inside. The children entered, their eyes never leaving his. He led them to the living room, where the firelight danced eerily across their pale faces. As they sat by the fire, their presence seemed to drain the warmth from the room, and the atmosphere grew colder. Samuel couldn't tear his eyes away from their hollow gazes. They began asking peculiar questions about his life, probing into his deepest fears and regrets. With every word, the children seemed to draw closer. The room grew darker, as if the very shadows conspired with them. Samuel realized their intentions were not innocent. They sought something from him, something he was not willing to give. Desperation gripped Samuel, and he managed to break free from their paralyzing gaze. He dashed for the door and flung it open, escaping in the frigid night. The children followed, their voices turning into a chilling, inhuman chorus. As Samuel ran deeper into the woods, he could hear their footsteps closing in, and the world around him transformed into a nightmarish realm. The trees seemed to reach out and gnarl limbs, and the darkness became suffocating. He never returned to the village, and his cabin remained abandoned, a stark reminder of the black-eyed children. To this day, the villagers warn against answering the door on moonless nights, for the sinister presence of those with eyes as dark and as void still lingers, waiting to ensnarl unsuspecting souls into their inescapable grasp.
Episode 2, Story 3, Ghost Dog. In a small old house at the edge of a dense, forbidden forest, there lived a little girl named Lily. Her family had recently moved to this eerie place, and Lily often felt lonely, for there were no other children to play with. Her only solace was a strange, spectral presence that took the form of a ghostly dog. The ghost dog, another real figure with translucent fur and piercing blue eyes, appeared to Lily one stormy night when she was feeling particularly isolated. It approached her with a gentle nuzzle, and she could feel an inexplicit warmth in its presence. Though its appearance was eerie, the dog's intentions seemed friendly. Each night, as the moon cast eerie shadows through the windows, the ghost dog would appear, and Lily would follow it into the dark forest. There, under the veil of tall, swaying trees, the air grew colder, and an eerie whispers of unseen creatures set shivers down her spine. As Lily ventured deeper into the forest with the ghost dog, she noticed that the atmosphere grew more unsettling. Ghostly apparitions of long-forgotten souls floated in the mist, and strange, mournful cries echoed through the night. Still, the ghost dog remained by her side, providing her with a strange sense of security. One night, they stumbled upon an ancient, worn mansion hidden in the heart of the forest. Its windows were shattered, and the walls seemed to ooze with an eerie energy. The ghost dog led her inside, and Lily felt compelled to follow. Within the mansion, Lily discovered a hidden room, its doors barely hanging on its hinges. Inside, she found an old dusty chest filled with ancient letters and mementos. They were the forgotten memories of the mansion's former inhabitants. As she began to read the letters, the ghost dog watched over her protectively. Through these letters, she learned the tragic story of the mansion's former owners and the reason the forest was so haunted. The mansion had once been a place of joy, but a curse had twisted it to a realm of darkness and despair. As Lily continued to read, a malevolent presence awoke within the mansion. Ghostly figures began to surround her, their mournful cries growling louder and more desperate. The room seemed to come alive, and Lily realized that the curse had not been entirely dormant. With the ghost dog by her side, she raced to escape the haunted mansion, fleeing the malevolent spirits that pursued her. Finally, they reached the forest's edge, and the ghostly figures could not cross the threshold. Lily returned to her home, shaken but no longer lonely. The ghost dog continued to follow her, guiding her through dreams and protecting her from the dark forces that lurk in the forest. She had found a friend in the most unexpected of places, and she no longer felt alone in her eerie new home. And so, the story of Lily and the ghost dog became a tale of friendship and courage in the face of darkness, a reminder that even in the most unsettling of places, companionship and kindness can be found.
Episode 2, Story 4, Stalked, read by Gabrielle Pena. In the heart of a vast and dense forest, Alex, an experienced hiker, embarked on a solo adventure. The wilderness was serene, with towering trees that seemed to touch the sky, and the air was filled with the sweet scent of pine. As he ventured deeper into the woods, he felt a deep connection with nature and relished the solitude. Little did he know that an unseen predator was watching his every move. It began with a subtle rustling of leaves and a distant growl that sent shivers down his spine. Alex was an experienced outdoorsman, and he knew that the predators were a natural part of the wilderness. However, this felt different, more personal, as though he had ventured into a territory that was not his own. Alex continued his hike, his senses on high alert. He had an uncanny feeling that he was being hunted. His footsteps quickened, and he occasionally glanced over his shoulder, catching glimpses of fleeting shadows. It was as though the forest itself had come alive, and he was now part of the predator's domain. As the day turned into night, the atmosphere grew more sinister. The woods were bathed in the eerie glow of a full moon, and the rustling and growling continued, growing closer and more menacing. Fear gnawed at his resolve, but he pressed on, desperate to reach the safety of his campsite. The predator, a massive and stealthy mountain lion, silently stalked Alex through the underbrush. It had picked up on his scent and perceived him as an intruder in its territory. The cat's eyes growled in the moonlight as it moved closer, ready to pounce. Just as the predator lunged, Alex's instincts kicked in, and he turned to face the beast. With a loud roar, he raised his arms and made himself appear larger and more intimidating. The mountain lion hesitated, giving Alex the precious seconds he needed to grab a fallen branch and swing it in the predator's direction. The cat retreated, vanishing into the shadows. Alex's heart raced as he caught his breath. He knew he had narrowly escaped a perilous encounter. With his senses heightened and adrenaline surging, he decided to abandon his hike and retreat back to the safety of his civilization. From that day on, the forest held a new kind of reverence and respect for Alex. He had faced a true predator and emerged victorious. But he also knew the untamed wilderness could be both beautiful and treacherous. Reminding him and the nature's majesty came with its own set of dangers.
Episode 2, Story 5, Demon Trick. In the quiet town of Ravenscott, two friends, Ben and Albert, have always been fascinated by the occult. They often dabbled in forbidden knowledge and explored dark, mysterious texts, unaware of the dangers that lurked in the shadows. One fateful night, they uncovered an ancient tomb filled with cryptic rituals and incarnations. Among its pages was a ritual for summoning a demon, promising great power in exchange for a soul. Ben and Albert, driven by their insatiable curiosity, decided to attempt the ritual, believing they could outsmart the sinister entity they were about to conjure. The night was stormy, with lightning and thunder crashing outside, setting a foreboding atmosphere for their reckless endeavor. They drew a pentagram on the floor, lit candles, and recited the incantation with trembling voices. As they chanted, an eerie presence filled the room, and a malevolent figure materialized before them. The demon, tall and menacing, with crimson eyes and wings that seemed to drip with darkness, loomed over the friends. It grinned with joy, recognizing their naive attempt to bargain for power. "What do you seek, mortals?" it hissed. Ben and Albert, beads of sweat on their foreheads, tried to strike a deal. They offered the demon wealth and power in exchange for sparing their souls, but the demon merely laughed. "Silly humans," it sneered. "I'll take what's mine." The friends, realizing they were trapped, frantically searched the ancient tomb for a solution. They stumbled upon a hidden passage that described a way to deceive the demon. It involved a complicated counter summoning ritual which they hastily attempted, hoping it wasn't too late. As they recited the reversal incantation, the demon's grin faltered. It sensed something was amiss, but momentarily was bounded by the ritual. Ben and Albert summoned every ounce of courage and determination they possessed, with beads of sweat dripping onto the ancient parchment. They completed the counter summoning. A blinding light engulfed the room, causing the demon to wither in agony. It howled and protested, but was powerless to resist the blinding magic they had invoked. Moments later, with a final bone-chilling scream, the demon vanished into a wisp of dark smoke, leaving behind a faint echo. Ben and Albert had successfully tricked the demon into breaking the contract, sparing their souls from its clutches. Exhausted and shaken, they realized the depths of the forces they had meddled with. The ancient tomb now lay open before them, its pages warning of the dangers that accompanied the supernatural. From that day forward, Ben and Albert swore off their fascination with the occult, understanding that some mysteries were best left undisturbed. Their terrifying encounter had taught them the importance of being careful with the knowledge they sought, as they had narrowly escaped the clutches of a demon that had sought to claim their very souls. Episode 2, Story 6, UAP.
In a remote desert, a group of astronomers and scientists have gathered to study the night sky, searching for cosmic mysteries beyond the Earth. Their equipment was state of the art and their expertise was unmatched, but nothing could prepare them for the chilling encounter they were about to experience. One clear, starry night, as they scanned the heavens for celestial wonders, a sudden, inexplicable disturbance occurred in the atmosphere. The night turned eerie and unsettling. A low frequency hum filled the air, sending shivers down their spines. Their instruments went haywire, and the sky above them was cloaked in an otherworldly greenish glow. A UAP, an unidentified aerial phenomenon, descended from the heavens, moving silently and with an uncanny grace. It defied the laws of physics, appearing as a sleek, metallic object with strange, luminescent symbols etched across its surface. The scientists were frozen in fear and fascination, unable to comprehend what they were witnessing. The UAP hovered ominously above them, casting an eerie light that seemed to seep into their very souls. It communicated with them not through sound or words, but through an unexplained connection, as if it were probing their minds. Each scientist received a flood of images, inexplicable knowledge, and terrifying visions. They saw glimpses of the future shrouded in chaos, with cities in ruins and humanity on the brink of extinction. UAP's message was cryptic and unsettling, a warning of impending doom. As UAP continued to probe their minds, the scientists felt a sinister presence lurking within its consciousness. It was not a malevolent entity, but something far more malevolent. The visions it sent grew darker, showing the destruction it had wrought upon the world. One by one, the scientists fell to their knees, overwhelmed by the horrifying truth that their encounter with the UAP had unleashed a malevolent force upon the world. They had been marked, and the destiny of humanity hung in the balance. As the UAP ascended back into the night sky, the scientists were left traumatized and haunted by their encounter. They knew they had witnessed something beyond human comprehension, a force capable of devastation and terror beyond measure.
Episode 2, Story 7, Nevo, Part 1. In a cozy, dimly lit room, David sat across from his 7-year-old daughter, Nevo, with a small wooden table between them. The room was adorned with old antiques and family heirlooms, and the air held an aura of mystery. Nevo had always exhibited an uncanny psychic ability, and David had reluctantly agreed to try a seance, hoping it would bring them closer together. Nevo, her big purple eyes filled with innocence and curiosity, placed her small hands on the table, her tiny fingers barely touching the surface. David, on the other side, tried to maintain skeptical composure while secretly hoping for a connection with the beyond. As they closed their eyes and Neville's voice filled the room with a soft, eerie chant, the temperature seemed to drop and a strange heaviness enveloped the space. Unseen forces swirled around them and their heartbeats quickened. In the midst of their seance, Neville's voice trembled. "I feel something, Daddy. The spirits are trying to tell me something important." Her voice held an eerie wisdom beyond ears. David was both amazed and frightened by his daughter's abilities. "What are they saying, Neville?" "They're warning me," she whispered, her eyes still closed. There's someone in this room, someone who's done something very bad. They're here, but they're not at peace." David's blood ran cold as he realized the gravity of the situation. He had invited a few friends to witness the seance, and he now felt a growing unease among them. His heart pounded as he contemplated the implications of Neville's revelation. Neville continued, her voice quivering. "I can feel their presence. They have a darkness about them, like a storm. They want to hurt others, Daddy, and they're hiding it." As the seance continued, David tried to maintain a sense of normalcy, but his eyes darted around the room, searching for any sign of suspicion among his guests. His mind raced with thoughts of what to do next. Then, as the seance drew to a close, Neville's eyes snapped open. Her gaze locked onto one individual. It's them, Daddy. It's that person. She pointed a small finger at a friend who had been attending. The room fell silent as the group turned their attention to the accused. Fear and tension filled the room, and David's friend began to sweat nervously. In a trembling voice, the friend confessed to a dark and hidden past, one that included a series of unspeakable crimes. The spirits had revealed the truth through Neville, and it was now up to the living to decide how to handle this newfound knowledge. The seance had uncovered a dark secret, and it was a haunting reminder that the supernatural world held mysteries and warnings far beyond the realm of the living. It also proved the extraordinary abilities of a little girl named Nevo, whose psychic gift had brought hidden truths to light. You have just listened to 7WoveN StatiC, Episode 2, GeN AI. Special thank you to my special guest readers of Audrey, singer from the band War on Sunday. You can find them on Facebook, Instagram, and YouTube at War on Sunday. My sister, Gabrielle Pena. You can find more of my projects on Facebook, Instagram, YouTube, and Spotify at David Jr. Artist. That's David Jr. Artist, and at 7WoveN. If you have a story you'd like to submit for future episodes, email or send audio files to 7woven.static@gmail.com. Once again, that's 7woven.static@gmail.com. Playing this episode out is a local Texas band called West Creek with their song These Eyes from their album What's Left of Me. You can also find them on Facebook, Instagram, and YouTube at West Creek Official. Thank you, and this has been 7WoveN StatiC, Episode 2, GeN AI. Also, if you're out there listening, little one, happy birthday to my daughter, Miss Taryn Quinn. Dad and family love you. Thank you for listening. Here you go.